The greatsword started out its legacy back in the very first Monster Hunter back on the old PlayStation 2. It's large, heavy, quite frankly, kinda clunky at times, but in the right hands, it's an immensely powerful weapon. In this episode of Weapons 2 Generations, we'll be covering this oversized sword and how it got the title of Great by comparing it to the previous installments, starting with Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP, up to the most recent release, Monster Hunter World, which is very soon coming out on PC. Bit of a side note, the reason why I'm doing Freedom Unite 2 Worlds is because the very first Monster Hunter PS2 didn't exactly age too well.
So, would I recommend the original Monster Hunter? Sadly, no. While I might have some fond memories of this game, I can plainly see why I didn't get all that far. There are some intentional balancing issues with the single player. Grinding and gathering materials is very tedious. The small monsters are awful, and the camera fucking sucks. Even if you're a die-hard Monster Hunter fan, I still wouldn't recommend playing this game, since the single player is set up against you, and the online mode is no longer accessible.
Freedom Unite is showing its age, but since so many veterans started there, I figured it would be a good place to start out with comparisons. As a sort of frame to these videos, I'm going to detail each weapon with the use of OCD. First we'll be going over the overview of the weapon, pretty much its characteristics and what makes it unique from other weapons. Then we will shift to its controls, basic combos, and the differences between each game, if there are any. And finally we take a direct opinion from me, basically listing the weapon's strengths and weaknesses, and finalizing it with an ease of use grade. A weapon as big as the hunter themselves, wielding the greatsword alone is a feat for the hunters, but actually hunting with it is a practically different story. A single swing alone does a decent chunk of damage, but holding X or triangle can charge the attacks, which deal more damage. Taking advantage of charge times and the monster's patterns, a skilled greatsword user can pretty much deal heavy damage to a monster's weak spot and get out scot-free. A little fun fact, greatsword wasn't actually able to charge attacks in the first Monster Hunter. Because of the weapon's large size, it's the only melee weapon without a shield that can block. The block itself is actually stronger than the sword and shield, even if it's at the expense of sharpness. The higher attack values come at a cost, however. The greatsword has one of the slowest walking speeds with the weapon out, not to mention that the swings are slow and attacking the wrong time could easily lead into a cart. Even then, the ability to charge attacks really makes this weapon shine, bringing in those big damage numbers to hunts. Not to mention different playstyles that are introduced in Gen and Worlds changing how you approach the hunt. Here's a mini list of desirable armor skills for the greatsword. Quick Sheath is there for people that just want to get in and get out. Hunters could easily just do a quick attack, roll, sheath the weapon, and wait for another opening. Not really needed in Worlds, but it's pretty handy in older Monster Hunters. Punish Draw has decent synergy with Quick Sheath. It slightly increases in attack as well as apply impact damage to draw attacks. Critical Draw also has pretty good synergy with Quick Sheath. Draw attacks just deal 100% infinity, because you know, crits matter. And last but not least, Mind's Eye. If you ever watch my streams, you'll see why that I absolutely hate bouncing. Let's just face it, because bouncing sucks. The extra time that it takes to recover could be extremely fatal. Each attack will be shown with its emotion value, which is a percent of raw attack that will be done as potential damage. This is a form right here for those that are curious. Since the greatsword's attacks are so slow, the motion values are much higher than most weapons. Pressing R with weapon out, or pressing Tri plus Circle and R or X plus A plus R will go into a block. This block is much stronger than sword and shield, but it shreds more sharpness than a bounce. Pressing X or triangle will do a simple overhead slice. Pressing circle would do a weaker overhead slice, but this time it's sideways. After the sideways cleave or while idle, you can do a backwards overhead slash. This could be used to do an infinite combo, which would be circle plus try, circle, and etc, or A plus X, A, and etc, etc. This right here is a bread and butter of the greatsword that makes it unique. The greatsword has 3 stages of charging. Upon holding triangle or X, a hunter will have a slight glow, and the max charge is at its third glow. Holding down the charge button after third glow is a failed overcharge, which will do as much damage as level 2 charge. The best way to know you timed it right is the bigger impact once you let it go. A level 2 charge is a much smaller impact when the blade hits the ground. Starting a Monster Hunter tried to renew combos for the greatsword. Pressing X or triangle during a block would do a little kick. This is a precursor towards a more stronger attack. If you press X after the kick, you'll do a fast swing that does a little bit of impact damage. After the sword slap, if you hold the left analog stick with triangle or X, you would do what is called a strong charge. It's like a regular charge, but this time since it takes a little bit more preparation, it deals more motion damage. Starting at 4 ultimate, there was an extension to the strong charge, and since there is now verticality, mid-air attacks are now possible. After the strong charge, the strong cleave is done by pressing circle A. The charge level correlates to the charge level that is done before the cleave. While in mid-air after a jump, you can press X or triangle to the mid-air overhead swing that does a mounting strike. After the mid-air swing, once you land, you can press circle or A to do a strong cleave. This will do as much damage as the level 2 strong cleave. Starting in Monster Hunter Generations, these attacks are unlocked through the almost magical Hunter Arts. Just keep in mind that motion values are very hard to figure out with these, so they won't be shown. The ground slash scrapes your greatsword on the ground before rushing forward and unleashing a big shockwave. Both the initial swing and the shockwave hit your target and it will dish out massive damage. Lion's Maw swings your greatsword around your body with a bloodthirsty force and raises the attack your following strike. Brimstone Slash builds up power of Great Fury, releasing a ground-splitting slash in the direction you choose. If you're attacked during this Hunter Art, you absorb the damage and execute a more stronger attack. These Hunter Arts are used for Monster Hunter Double Cross / Generations Ultimate. Moonbreaker. Quickly leap into the air and do an overhead swing with his greatsword. All of this is new for Monster Hunter Worlds. Your tackle is able to interrupt a charge with a small dash forward. This is pretty much like a land shield dash forward, but this time we're using the Hunter's shoulder. Pretty much in the middle of a charge you press circle and then you do a small tackle. After the tackle you press circle for a strong diving cleave. This right is a greatsword's strongest attack. After the tackle, in a similar manner of the strong charge, holding the analog stick in triangle, the hunter reels back the massive blade for a crushing blow. Its jumping slash works in the same manner as it did in Generations. In the middle of a slide by pressing triangle, you do a rising charge slash. By pressing triangle after a rising charge slash, you could do a downward falling thrust, similar to how Link does a down thrust with his sword, but this time it's in Monster Hunter. The greatsword is actually one of my favorite weapons. The big attack values, even if they are bloated in for ultimate, they look really tempting. What's not to like about big swords in video games? It's a simple weapon that can be really complex, with its timing and positioning being a key element for this weapon. The pros for the greatsword is, it has powerful attacks that can be charged, it could guard, it's a long reach, sharpness takes a little while to go down, it's a flinch maker. The negatives for the greatsword is that it's very slow. You move very slowly with the weapon out, and the attacks themselves are pretty sluggish. Another negative thing is that you need a little bit of knowledge about the monster to use it to its true potential, about its timing, its weak spots, correct positionings, etc, etc. In guarding it takes up a lot more sharpness than a bounce. The greatsword has been around long enough to have been given love by Capcom, and it shows. The smoothness in the new combos and worlds make up for a lot of its shortcomings in previous installments. There aren't too many complex moves to memorize, no stamina draining super moves to keep track of, and you don't gotta sharpness every couple of combos, like dual blade, long sword, or inside glaive for a couple of examples of that. In all, is the greatsword beginner friendly? Of course. When I think of Monster Hunter, I think of huge monsters, so what else to complement them than with huge weaponry?